Hello everyone, in today's video we will learn how to draw Christmas trees with markers and pens. In this tutorial, I will be using Sanjoki 120 color set to do all the coloring. Thank you to Sanjoki Marker for sponsoring today's video. In the first chapter, I will show you how to use chisel tip to draw. In the second drawing, I will show you how to use brush tip. In the last drawing, it will be a combination. At the end of each drawing, we will make a simple greeting card together. You can find the art supply list in the description box. To follow along with this video, you will need at least 3 shades of green markers, 2 shades of yellow or brown, 1 shade of red. I have lots of comments asking me about marker recommendations. It is hard to recommend certain markers since everyone has different needs and expectations. If you are looking for affordable brush tip markers, you can check out Sanjoki Marker. The product link is in the description box. I'm sketching a frame to make sure the drawing will be at the center on the left side of the paper. Later, I will cut it out to make a card. First, we can use pencil to sketch a triangle to briefly outline the tree form. Underneath the triangle, sketch a trapezoid with curved bottom. This will be the tree color. Now sketch some horizontal lines on the triangle. Each line is 1 tier of foliage. Following the outline, draw these marks to mimic the tree leaves. Sketch some ornaments on the tree. Once the rough pencil sketch is done, we can use a pen to trace the outline. I won't accurately trace my pencil outline. The outline is just a guide to make sure my overall shape won't tilt. When you are drawing these marks, try to relax your hand. It's kind of like you're writing down these marks. To make your drawing more expressive, try not to draw repetitive marks. That means these marks should relatively have different sizes and density. The line weight can help build values to your drawing. The light source will be coming from the upper left. So when I am drawing these rounded ornaments, on the left side I will use discontinued lines to show the light value. It is a very small detail and not quite noticeable. But remember, all small details add up will help build volume for your drawing. I decided to draw woven pattern tree color. To keep it simple and easy, I won't draw too many lines one by one. Instead, draw some vertical lines and horizontal curved marks to simplify the woven pattern. In the light value area, I will draw less marks. I will add more marks in the shadow area as part of the shading. Once our line work is done, let it dry for a few minutes, then we can erase the pencil outline. Before we start adding colors to the tree, let's take a look at the basic forms to help us better understand how to do shading in our drawing. We can simplify the tree's form into a cone sit on top of a cylinder. To keep it simple, if the light source is from the upper left, we will add more darker values on the lower right side of the tree. And don't forget there are some shadows between each section of the foliage. To achieve the best result, 3 shades of green markers are recommended because you will be able to easily create light, mid-tone, and dark values. 2 shades will also do the job, and you can use a pen to add more dark values. In this drawing, I will use chisel tip to draw. These are marker strokes I will be using. They are short and relatively wide. Your marker stroke should be very consistent, which means try not to drastically change your marker stroke angles and shapes. There is no exact way to draw these strokes. If you only have brush tip markers, you can use them to draw as well. Marker strokes you use will bring certain styles to your drawing. For each Sanjoki marker's color I use, I will put the marker cap here while drawing, and I will list all the color numbers in the description as well. First, we can use a light yellow color to add an undertone. I intentionally left out some space as part of the highlight. Keep in mind, the light source is from the upper left. Then use a light green color to draw the marker strokes we practiced before to fill out the entire tree. Leaving out some white space is optional. Personally, I like doing this to indicate the light source and create more volume for the drawing. Try to make sure the colors stay inside of your pen outline and don't get on the ornament. But if you made mistakes, don't worry, we can use a white gel pen to cover it later. Allow the ink to dry a little, then use the same color. We can gradually add some dark value. Feel free to draw some dots around the tree to create an atmosphere. To keep adding volume to our drawing, use a second shade of green to add mid-tone. You may wonder this color is barely noticeable, why do I need it? This color is used to soften the warm gray color I will be using later. Use a warm gray color to add shadow under the tree. To make the drawing look cozy, I'm adding some warm colors on the ground. From here, we are gradually adding darker values on everything. I'm using the pen to draw more detailed pattern on the color and the ornaments. Now we can use a white gel pen to draw some highlights and add textures. If you don't have a white gel pen, you can use some white acrylic paint. A gel pen is just more convenient to use. I'm using the pen to do some hatching to add more volumes and layers to this drawing. Lastly, we can draw a star on the top of the tree. Right now the tree looks still a little bit flat, so I'm adding more darker values to increase the contrast. Overall, this drawing is very simple. The tricky part is to keep all marker strokes cohesive and knowing how to simplify light and shadow. I hope you like this drawing. In the next part, we will make a greeting card together. This part will be very simple, it won't take much effort. The paper I used to draw is mixed media paper. It's not quite heavy enough to be used as a greeting card, so I'm cutting it out and will glue it down on a heavier paper. I left out lots of space around my drawing, just in case I want to write something down later. To keep it simple, I decided to use brown cardstock I already have to make this card. I tested it out on a rough sketch I had. It looks pretty good. My drawing is about 14 by 10 cm. I want to leave about 1 cm of brown paper edge around my drawing. So I'm cutting out a 16 by 24 brown cardstock. At the center of the paper, you can use the back of the knife to slightly press it, so you can easily fold it. Once folded, double check if it's symmetrical and cut out extra paper. To glue the drawing on the cardstock, I like using the rubber cement. It won't shrink or wrinkle the paper. Firmly press down to make sure the papers stick together. If you want to add some decoration, you can use a white gel pen to draw some snow around. In this chapter, we will be using brush tip to draw. If you are getting the Sanjoki markers, it has both chisel tip and brush tip. If you don't have brush tip markers, chisel tip will work great as well. As you can see here, the strokes I drew by using chisel tip from the last drawing can be very similar to the brush tip. The way how you hold your marker is very important. Brush tip is definitely more easier to create curved pointy marks, which we will use a lot in this drawing. Same with the last drawing, we will sketch a triangle for the tree and some horizontal lines to decide how many sections of foliage we will draw. To draw the outer shape of the tree, this time we will make the branches longer and tilt up more, kind of like bird's wing. Underneath the tree, we will draw some gift boxes around. If you have a hard time drawing these boxes, it can be very helpful to practice drawing the basic cubes first. You can check my another tutorial. I will put a link in the description. For this drawing, we will use markers to color first, then add line work accordingly. So try to slightly erase your pencil outline to the point you can still see them, but it won't show up too much after coloring. Same with the last drawing, I'm using a light yellow color as an undertone first. light source is still from the upper left. To indicate the light source, I left out some white space on the left side of the tree. In this drawing, I will use some bluish green to color this tree. If you like the color theme from the last drawing, feel free to use them. I just want to give you more options to choose, so I tested out different colors here. Allow the first layer of ink to dry. Use the same color to keep adding more dark values. If you keep using the same color without letting it dry first, all marker strokes will blend together and have no layers. Add darker value in the shadow of the ornament and on the lower right side of the tree. To draw these strokes, you press down your markers first, then lift it at the end. Don't use too much pressure. Same with the last drawing, I will use dashed line to indicate the light source. Here, I decided to draw a birdhouse. It doesn't need to be complicated. If you want to practice how to draw houses, I have other tutorials for you. Feel free to check the link in the upper right corner. When you are using darker greens, don't cover all the light green you have, so you can create some nice layers to build up the depth to the foliage. In the first drawing, we talked about the basic forms and shading. Here, use the same rule, add more darker values on the right side of the tree to add more volume. color the gift boxes, I will leave most of the ribbon blank. Too many colors can make the drawing look very busy. Sometimes it's better to keep everything simple. Before keep adding more colors, I'm gonna add some line work. This time we don't need to outline the entire tree. Just simply draw some strokes to add a little bit texture and define some details. Now it's time to use a darker green. Once we add a few strokes of this dark green, we created 3 basic values including light, mid-tone, and core shadow. I'm focusing on adding more darker value in the shadow part. Also, add some darker values on the edge of the ribbon, so it will look like it sits on the box. The ornament is very small here, so you don't have to draw too many details on it. Grab the gel pen to add the highlight. From here, I'm going to add more dark value in the shadow area to increase the contrast. use a pen to do some hatching to tie up the whole drawing. When you are ready, we will use this drawing to make a card together. This time I will use a red cardstock. Since in this drawing I used a fair amount of red colors, the red frame can be a good match to it. But of course, you can use any colors you like. I just happen to have this red paper sitting on my shelf for a long time, so I finally can use it to make something nice. In this drawing, I will use both chisel tip and brush tip to draw. At the center of the tree, we can use some wide strokes. As it towards the edge of the tree, try to use some narrow strokes to carefully draw these branches with needle leaves. You can either use brush tip or chisel tip for this drawing. I will demonstrate both so you can have more options. First, we can still sketch down the basic triangle and the trapezoid as a guide. Briefly sketch out the tree trunk and branches direction. Slightly erase your outline. We're gonna start coloring without any line work first. Same with the last two drawings. Use a light yellow as my undertone. You will see I often rotate my markers to draw different types of strokes. This is a great opportunity to practice your marker strokes by using a light color. Most of the yellow colors will be layered with green colors later. I actually forget to draw the ornaments, so go ahead and use pencil to outline them before adding green colors. Now start with a light green color to fill out the entire tree. Use wide strokes around the center. Carefully draw thin branches around the edge. Repeat the steps using the second shade of green. The light source is from the upper left. Add more darker value on the center and the lower part of the tree. Before I add the darkest green, I want to use the pen to do some line work to define the shapes of each element. I will draw a metal tree color this time. Drawing some dashed line can help create a texture here. To shade the tree trunk, add more dark value on the bottom of the tree crown and on the right side of the tree trunk. Now it's time to use a third shade of green. I know it doesn't look much at the moment, but once we add highlight later, it will look great. Trust the process. Metal objects have very strong and defined shaped highlight, so when shading it, I will leave out some stripe-shaped white space as part of the highlight. Now use a gel pen to draw some branches and add highlight to your ornament. have a dark shade of this gold color. To add more darker values, we can use a pen to do some hatching. Now we finish our last drawing and time to make another card. I have this very light yellow cardstock I considered using, but as you can see it doesn't make this drawing stand out due to the lack of contrast. So I decided to use a brown paper again. If I had a golden color paper, it might go very well with this drawing, but I will stick with what I already have. I actually thought about using the chocolate wrapping to glue on the edge, but it was too shiny. I would love to see what you will come up with. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial and had some fun. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment. I will see you in the next video.